Hello everybody, how's it going? It's your boy SnakeOMartyn and I'm back with another video for you. Today we are going to be discussing my game of the year. I will talk about the games that helped make my 2024 better. Now we can't do an awards ceremony without a trophy, of course, I'm not stupid. So the trophy this year designed by someone in China, I believe, China. At least according to the bottom, we have the prestigious SnakeOMartyn Game of the Year award. One of my lucky nominees are going to be taking this home, and I will somehow get it to them. Probably. First up, I'm going to go through a few of the games that I absolutely loved this year, starting with Helldivers 2. Now, I thought this game was fantastic when it first came out. I still like it now. I don't play it as much as I used to, although I'm still very, very prevalent in the Helldiver Club at Alex and G's channel. I know there's been a lot of controversy with this game about how on Steam Sony did a few shady things, very wrong shady things, and I do not think that was right. However, I'm not going to say or take points away from the game itself, because the game is actually stellar. This has some of the best movement since Metal Gear Solid 5. I actually think they were maybe inspired subtly by that game's mechanics, because they follow on from them very, very well. It's so fun to play, especially when you're playing with friends. You can have a party of 4, taking down the scum of the bugs. You can take down the army of Terminators, basically. And they've recently added a new faction, the Illuminate. Very, very exciting. I haven't actually got on it since they've added the Illuminate, and I need to. I will be getting back into this. I'm going to dip my toes back in very, very soon, and hopefully they don't get wet with blood. My blood. I think this was a fantastic year. It's actually surprised me how this game wasn't on more Game of the Year nominees around the internet. However, this for me is definitely in there. It was so, so good, and definitely one of the nominees this year. This next one I've talked about on the channel already, and might be a bit of a surprise for Game of the Year, but I really, really enjoyed it. Call of Duty. I know, I feel dirty putting this here, but I really, really thought that that campaign was fantastic. Like, genuinely one of the best campaigns I have played in this genre for years, and I mean years. I can't, if you said to me, tell me a good first-person shooter campaign, I'd struggle, especially recently. Like, Halo hasn't been that great of late. You know, Call of Duty's pretty much just paint by numbers, but this time they went against the grain. The multiplayer component of it is pretty good. It's where I feel the greed factor comes in, and it makes me really sad that people didn't play the campaign, and people probably won't play the campaign for this one, because it was genuinely such a breath of fresh air in a first-person landscape where there aren't that many good games anymore. Check this out if you haven't already. I really, really, really enjoyed this. Next up, I need my Steam Deck for this. My next game of the year is quite simply this one.
Five hours later.
This has taken my brain. Balatro is a fantastic game. It is one of the most pure gaming experiences I think you can have. I actually saw a person describe it as a perfect video game the other day in the likes of Tetris. And I actually do agree. It is an amazing game that is so simple at its core, but so deep. So deep that you just barely scratch the surface each run. I've pumped about, not even many hours into it. I wouldn't even say it's pumped. I haven't pumped anything into it really. I managed to avoid getting my clawed in fully. But I've spent a fair bit of time with that game, and it is really, really fun, really addictive, and is definitely one of those games that I think everyone should give a go. I wouldn't say that you have to be a poker player. A lot of people look at the card mechanics and think, oh, you've got to be a poker player. It's not like that. It's just learning about the hands. I mean, as long as you can put these cards together in ways that you score, it's fine. And you basically do that on most puzzly type of games. The roguelike component to it, incredible. It's just so good. I can't fathom how this was made by one guy. And also, when we were coming off the back of Call of Duty then, which is a greed machine, this is just, you pay once, that's it. They've given a few free card updates and stuff, like backs of the cards, you've got like Cyberpunk and things on there. It's games like this and developers like this that are just brilliant, and I really think this should be rewarded. It's an indie game, it's incredible. So well done to Balatro for being on so many Game of the Year lists as well, and even at the Game Awards. It's a fantastic game, and I recommend that everyone should give it a go. Next up, a game that's very close to my heart. It's Tekken 8. I love Tekken so much, and Tekken 8 didn't disappoint. It kind of did though, but we'll get into that. Tekken 8 is amazing. The story, absolutely insane. It's like you're playing an anime from start to finish. It's so fun, so over the top, incredible. The graphics on this game, so good. It's about time we had an upgrade from Tekken 7, and they really smashed it out the park with Tekken 8. The new mechanics, the heat system, the rage in it, it's just amazing. It's so good. I've got the launch edition. It came with like this little 8 break the chains, I think is what the fist meets fate. So whenever you fist, make sure that you hit the fate. And yeah, it's fantastic. There's not much to talk about with Tekken. It's one of the greatest fighting games of all time. There's not really much to talk about with Tekken. I feel like everyone would have played a Tekken game at some point in their lives. And it's more of that. It's just so refined now. It's a lot more aggressive, the gameplay in it, because of the new systems, and I love that. It's so good. That heat system is incredible, and it just makes you have to go aggressive. Apparently, I've just walked 10,000 steps. I must be flinging my arm like a madman. Noted for when I need to fling my arm like a madman again. Anyway, Tekken 8. Tekken 8, yeah, amazing. The characters they've put in a lot of DLC characters. I think they've just put in Clive from Final Fantasy 16. A lot of people on the internet weren't very happy about that. I loved Final Fantasy 16, and I'm so happy about it. They've got Eddie Gordo in there now. There's a few people that are still missing from like classic characters. It's one of the best games I've played this year, 100%. Next up, another game that absolutely lit up my life is a sequel. It is Astrobot. People might not realise this is a sequel. I do. Like a proper sequel as well. Technically it's the third game. Maybe people don't realise that. So Astrobot started on the PSVR, the original PSVR on PlayStation 4, with Rescue Mission. And it's just essentially the same game they've made multiple times, but just expanded it. Astrobot is perfect. In the same ways that Balatro is perfect, I think Astrobot is perfect. It's an incredible platformer. It's a celebration of all things PlayStation, and I would actually say all things gaming. And yeah, I really love that they made this game, and it had the praise that it deserves. It really does deserve all of the awards, this game. It's so charming. It's really weirdly emotional at times, and it's just so beautiful. The way that they use the PlayStation controller, the DualSense, is the best. If you ever want to have a real go at it, we always used to say, play Astro's Playroom, the game that comes with PlayStation 5s. This just expands on that, like how they use the controller in every facet, whether you're blowing it, whether you're pulling the triggers ever so slightly. It's just superb. It makes you feel like a kid again in all of the best ways. I know people say that it's like a Mario clone, and I yeah, of course, it's inspired by Mario, but what they've done is something that is so special that I don't think we've seen from any other company ever apart from the Nintendo games. This game makes me feel like how I think Super Mario 64 makes a lot of people feel. But I'm an adult, which is weird because I feel like not many people think the same about Mario 64. Like, I played Mario 64 for the first time this year, and I didn't like it that much. But if you played it as a kid, you love it, or it seems to be that way. And this just captures everything there is about that childlike wonderment and puts it in a game, and it's just superb. So that is why this is one of my nominees for Game of the Year this year. It's Chef's Kiss. Chef's Kiss. I might kiss it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think this game is amazing. It's a long old game. A brilliant game, but a long one. A remake, reimagining, kind of Final Fantasy VII. I think it's an amazing graphical achievement. The graphics are insane on it. The combat is so fun. It's just a joy to run around that world and slash and hack and slash and shoot and everything. The characters you can play as are just amazing. They've changed the story in some ways that I didn't like from the original. I didn't really like how Sid is in this one, but I get that they need to change, that they've changed some things. Not necessarily for the better, but that doesn't necessarily detract from the overall experience. I will say that this game felt incredibly long, and while I loved it, by the end I was quite ready for it to be over. A lot of people have put this as their Game of the Year. Will I? I'll let you know in a minute. I'm so pumped for Final Fantasy VII Remake, or whatever you want to call it, Reimagined. I don't know, but very, very exciting times, and I hope it comes in the next few years because I need to see how this ends. So this final entry today is a game that I need to spend more time with, and it's definitely on my high up on my list of things to do in 2025, and that is to play more of Metaphor Fantasio. It's such a good game. Oh my god. I think I spent about 10 hours, 15 hours in this game, which is pretty much like a good amount of time. You can finish games in that. I think I finished COD in that time. And this game is just incredible. The graphics, the vibe. I've never played, this is going to sound mad, but I've never played an Atlas game before, apart from Catherine. I've never played the Personas. I've got Persona multiple times, Persona 5, and I've never jumped in. And this spoke to me a little bit. I liked the medieval kind of fantasy setting. It looked really cool, and I wanted to get into it. And I bought it, and I was thinking, not knowing what to expect really. The anime cutscenes, stellar, like genuinely beautiful. The gameplay, those turn-based mechanics that we all used to love, more of that in this. There's also cool ways you can kind of like dispatch really weak enemies in the overworld. There's kind of like dungeons, the map is huge. It's just so good. And it's got this like day system in it where I think this is probably pretty common in the Persona games, but I've never had it before, but you kind of do tasks each day and then it kind of leads up to stuff. It's really, really good. The story as well, from what I've played so far, is really interesting. Like so interesting. And I can't wait to play it some more. It's like literally pretty much one of the next games I'm going to like get back into. And yeah, just a fantastic game. Check it out. If you've ever been into RPGs, especially Japanese role-playing games, get this one. It's fantastic, worth every penny, and I think I've seen it as low as like £30 or £25 now. So if you're ever on the fence about something, don't be, get this. So those are my nominees for Game of the Year. You might be thinking that there's a few missing from like the Game Awards list. I'm not putting Elden Ring in there. Elden Ring was one of the greatest experiences that I've had last year, but it was a DLC for a game that came out before. So while I absolutely adored Elden Ring's DLC, it's a DLC, so that's not winning. And the other thing is Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong is a really, really good game. However, it's not a game that I would put into this list. And I'll explain later why in a separate video, because I finished that game and I really did enjoy it, but I think it's just got too many flaws for me to put it in there. The Game of the Year for 2024 is none other than Astrobot! Yeah, it's gotta be Astrobot for me. I absolutely adored this game. I know it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards and it looks like I'm copying, but genuinely, this was my Game of the Year. I don't think I had as much fun from beginning to end of like this 20-hour story or campaign or what have you than I have with this. I was smiling from beginning to end. I didn't get frustrated really. Even with the hardest level, I didn't find it that bad. I found it amazingly fun. It was just a joy to collect all those little robots from PlayStation's history and elsewhere as well. They've supported the game after the launch as well with more levels and time trials and things like that. It's just superb. So Team Asobi, you are taking home the Game of the Year award from SnakeOMartyn in 2024. So many exciting times for 2025 are ahead. What's going to win Game of the Year 2025? I don't know yet. Is it going to be Nintendo's year? They just announced the Switch 2. It's going to be very exciting. Mario Kart 9 has basically been kind of shadow announced as well. There's so many cool things that are coming, guys. Honestly, I'm very, very excited. I don't know what's to come with Sony or with Xbox. I have no idea. I'm so excited for what they can bring. Next year is going to be a good one, I'm sure. But don't forget, we've all got those crazy backlogs. Make sure we play through them too. If there's anything you missed from 2024, play them in 2025. Let's get it going. I love games. I love celebrating games. So that is why we will always be celebrating and talking about what's good about gaming here. I'm very excited. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you've had a good 2024 with me. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for watching me get angry at very old games as well as play some very new ones too. And I will see you on the next one. It's already 2025, by the way, but I'll see you again in 2025. Take care, everybody. Toodaloo. Let's go!